Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Writing Tip of the Week. My name is Julie 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐩𝐭𝐞𝐫𝐬, and I work with the GSCP in writing support. This week, I want to talk about common knowledge, what it is, and how it relates to citations. All students want to avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is the idea that you are taking somebody else's words and pretending like they're your own in either a writing assignment or a presentation. Institutions call this having academic integrity and or honesty in order to avoid plagiarism. So how do we avoid that? Well, we properly cite our sources. The question comes in where there's a little bit of a gray area. How do we know when something is considered common knowledge and doesn't need to be cited? Said another way, what is the difference between common knowledge and evidence that needs to be cited? Let's take a look at this a little deeper to try to understand it. Common knowledge is a little difficult to define because the question is, what is common? Who knows the common knowledge? So let me give you some examples. First, a pretty straightforward one, grass is green. Water freezes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐽 is the president of Pepperdine. Pavlov's classical conditioning theory explains stimulus and response to teach behavior. So, would all four of these examples be common to everyone? Well, we have to ask some questions. Who is your audience? So maybe not everyone would know 3 or 4. Perhaps only people who are associated with Pepperdine would really, know that 𝐂𝐻𝐻𝐽 is the name of the president. And perhaps with number 4, it's not everyone knows this. They were taught it at one point. So is that common knowledge or not? Another question you can ask is, what can I reasonably assume they already know? And perhaps the first 2 examples are better possibilities for that. And the last question you can ask is, will they want to know where I got my information? And that's possibility for number 4 in particular. For students who are writing for their professors, assignments for professors, you can reasonably assume that the field of your professor is, the common knowledge within that field is probably okay to not cite. For example, number 4. However, it's still a little bit of a gray area. So here are a couple more examples. Do you think these are common knowledge? Freud posited a theory about human personality, which is divided into 3 parts. Freud's theory defines 3 distinct interacting agents in the human personality, the id, ego, and superego. When the ego is performing its synthetic function wisely, the id, ego, and superego are blended together into a unified, well-organized whole. I want you to notice something about these 3 statements. First of all, they're all similar in terms of their topic. They're all about Freud's theory of the id, ego, and superego. The first one, however, is quite general. So I would suggest that this one is probably common knowledge. Most educated people know about Freud and these concepts. The second one, maybe. It's a little more specific. It might need to be cited. And the last one, most definitely, is not common knowledge. And you see how it gets more specific. And as a matter of fact, it's a direct quotation from a book on Freudian psychology. So you have to think about, more general facts, like the Amazon is a rainforest in South America, as opposed to we get, whatever percentage of oxygen from the Amazon rainforest. So the more specific it is, probably the more likely it needs to be cited. So think about your audience. Think about, will someone need to know where you found this information? And think about its specificity. And then I think that'll help you determine if it's common knowledge. But when in doubt, always cite. That's all for this week's writing tip. I hope you join me in the future for more tips and strategies. And until next time, happy writing.